You don't know this is MMA Jammin, and we always want to big up our Jamaican fighters. When they're fighting, we want to support them. But I got a problem, bro. Because, one, Uriah Hall never rep Jamaica yet. And two, he's fighting one of my all-time favorite fighters,
Right.
who I wish was retired.
Right. I mean, they were scheduled to fight before that fell.
And it fell through.
Yeah.
But bro, I really, really, really wish that Anderson Silva was no longer fighting. I wish he could have rode off into the sunset like Khabib is doing. But he's going to have to fight Uriah. What do you think is going to happen?
I'm not choosing. All right, let me tell you. Hold on. Well, when I look at Andy fighting like an Israel Adesanya, where that was just technical, I think I'm going to see the same thing. But the question is, which Uriah Hall is actually going to show up against Anderson Silva? Is he going to get starstruck and be like, oh, he's fighting his hero? Or, you know, is he actually going to show up like he did like against like a Gabriel Musashi, or, you know?
Well, don't even talk about the Musashi fight, because that was a buck-ups.
Yeah. Well,
which was proven in the rematch.
But, I don't know. How do you choose somebody?
So here's the thing. I don't think their fighting styles are that similar, actually. All right, lie. They are very similar in that they're both counter punchers. They both have a healthy toolbox of kicks and punches. I think Anderson is definitely more Muay Thai as opposed to Uriah, more karate. But they're both counter punchers. They're both counter strikers, and they try to pull you in. Now, Anderson Silva is going to have a little more reach. Right. He's going to have a little more length on him.
I don't think Uriah Hall can knock out Anderson.
I think anybody can knock out Anderson right now.
At this point?
Yeah. I think his chin isn't there as much anymore. His body is not as strong. We saw how Cannonier was able to leg kick him out of the cage.
Yeah.
But the problem is, Uriah, for one, doesn't throw many leg kicks.
Right. Yeah.
Which is kind of a big part of your key to victory against Anderson. He doesn't throw a lot of leg kicks. He does have some. He's got in that Costa fight. He showed us that he has a sweet jab.
Yeah.
We want to see if he's going to be able to use that jab now, especially against the taller Anderson Silva.
Here's the thing. Against the real question, I guess one would be, which Uriah Hall is going to show up? Is Anderson going to play around like him usually does sometime, and him just always end up breaking him foot?
Don't say always, because Anderson got where he got by playing around.
I mean, not with these new breeder fighters coming up. Everybody's seen him. I know them. So with Israel, like, read everything that he was going to do.
Well, yeah, Israel definitely studied him and has emulated him for a while. So it's not surprising to see that. But this is also the thing. I think everybody who Anderson faces right now would have had his entire playbook. Right. They would have seen it all. Yeah. Unless Anderson has somehow rediscovered himself and come with something new, which is what I really hope he does. Him need to add something to his game. It can't be the same shit. Let me see a double leg. Let me see, you know what I mean? I mean, really add something different. Because if Anderson shot on Uriah, I remember he's a legit black belt.
Right.
If he shot on Uriah, now Uriah has to think about this shit.
Yeah, and Uriah isn't the best grappler either.
No, I mean, his takedown defense is pretty good,
yeah.
But it won't be against somebody who is not expecting to shoot at all. Nobody would expect Anderson to shoot. Right. If Anderson spent some time in wrestling camp just doing double legs only, working striking transition to double legs only, it would make a huge difference in how this fight turned out. Now, I'm saying all of this, and it's obvious, I guess, who I'm choosing, who I want to win, because I know this is also Anderson's last fight.
Right.
I would love to see him go out on a bang.
Because he's had some bad matchups.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you look at somebody like, I mean, he won against Diaz, but then you look at Cannonier, Izzy, and man, I really hope he can pull this one off. So
I thought Cannonier wasn't a bad matchup for him. Cannonier was actually an excellent matchup for him. It's just unfortunate how things went.
Kicks,
yeah.
Just come out the aggressor in this fight. Come out serious, hands up, no playing around. You know, if he must play around, I mean, have a strategy. Don't just think that he's not going to, you know, see it coming or whatever.
Yeah, I think he can move forward like without. Right. But you can move forward and provide pressure and still be a counterpuncher.
Right.
You can.
Yeah.
Because it's about space.
Yeah.
So once you control that space, impose your will with your feints,
Yeah.
with your jab, with your leg kicks, impose that and come forward and have the person consistently worrying. And like I said, man, if he was to shoot one time, that's it.
Right.
It would be it.
Right. But I think Andy is probably going to want the knockout. He's going to want a good fight. He's also come to that place where I don't even know if he really cares if he wins or he loses.
Yeah,
I
and
think
it's
more
criminal.
Like he just likes to have fun. He's like,
No, honestly, you know.
fun. I thank you for 5G.
You know what I think it was, and I think it's always been, is that he's wanted to retire for a very long time, but they would not allow him to retire because of the contract.
Wow.
Like he had like a 10-fight contract, and this was a while back, and it hasn't even been 10 fights yet. So I think he really did want to retire because he spoke about it from early out. He was like, "Oh, I want to retire," but I don't think they were letting him. So I think now it's a matter of just getting this fight done. I think he will find some motivation in the fact that it is his last fight and he want to do it for him fans.
Yes.
But it's rough to see a man's legacy go from being
the most dominant.
and
Only
being
4
known as the
losses.
GOAT. Everybody knew him as the GOAT.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even John Jones, all them man pay homage to the man.
Say,
Adesanya pays
serious
homage to the man.
Yeah.
And then, you know, to see how everything has been happening over the years. So hopefully Hall gets it done. What are Hall's keys to victory?
Hall's keys to victory. Well, first and foremost, his confidence, because we see where that lies.
Big time. I think it's a lot
because
mental.
he does have the skills to beat a lot of people in the middleweight division. You know, especially people that choose to strike with him. But can he impose that karate on them? You know, I mean, he has the kicks. He has it. We've seen where he had like one of the most devastating spinning hook kick knockouts. You know, but we haven't seen that aggression like we saw when he just came to the Ultimate Fight. Like everybody even was saying that he was going to be the next Anderson Silva.
And you know, it's because that's what losing does. So you come in and you have this dominance, and then he loses to Kelvin Gastelum in the finals, and then all of a sudden it's a very clear key to victory for the other fighters. And then he continues to lose a couple more times. You know what was. And we've always spoken about his confidence and his mindset being a big part of what will, get him the wins. Like just like you said, which Hall is going to show up. This last fight against Costa he was so confident. He came in there. He changed his game to stop being the consistent and perennial counterpuncher to being that guy throwing that jab, to being active with the jab, being active with the movement, and it was looking really, really good. And then he got knocked out.
Right.
What does that do to his confidence? Because I think that now
going probably shake him.
Because
he was coming off a win before that fight, and he was saying about how motivated he was, and he even called out Izzy. I'm like, you crazy. But like, so after that, there is that factor. Like, he has to be confident. Also, the whole karate style. I hope he imposes a lot more Muay Thai kickboxing, where it's not just 1-2 boom counter punch. It's more like 4 or 5 different strikes all at once.
Especially now against somebody like Anderson Silva, who is not gonna shoot.
Yes, and he's
now is when you can throw some combinations.
Like a 5 or so combination. Even if you miss and just circle around and just reset, get back to the center of the cage as such. I mean, I don't think any of them are going to shoot. We can only hope Anderson shoots.
Yeah.
But if he goes to the ground, Anderson will have the upper.
Yeah, Anderson will definitely have the advantage on Rogan. I think it's also quite possible that Uriah, and one of the keys that Uriah might have, is to pressure Anderson against the cage, tire out the arms a little bit, tire out the legs. Right. He is the younger fighter, man. Yeah. He's way younger than Anderson Silva. He should have a strength advantage, even though people have spoken about how strong Anderson is. He should have a strength and fitness advantage, so he should be able to tire him out against the cage a little bit and still have more pop and more speed, and he should be faster than Anderson as well. So we'll see. Anderson has the reach, he has the experience, he has more of the mental fortitude.
He's been in there.
He's been in there, man. He's got that experience and knows how to handle the big stage.
Right.
And we'll see what happens, because
well, I'm excited for the fight. I know a lot of people aren't because they want to write off Uriah, they want to write off Anderson. Why would I want to see that? No, trust me.
Yeah.
You're a fan of martial arts itself. You're a karate guy up against a Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Both of them are elusive strikers. On the feet, it can be really, it could be action packed, just like when he fought like Izzy, because both of them have similar striking styles, because they're both strikers. And then if it goes to the ground, well, Andy go mash him up if he go on the ground.
I don't know. You see how you talk about the fight against Izzy has been action packed. I don't think that it was action packed.
Really? It looked like a kung fu movie.
It had moments. It had great moments. And the thing with both of these fighters now, there is a high possibility that this could be a boring ass fight.
Well,
because if they both decide to go into counter-striking mode and just stay there,
I don't think Andy wanted that on him last fight.
I hope not. But I think it depends on what he's thinking about. Is he thinking about the victory, or is he thinking about the performance?
Yeah.
Right. And so we'll see. I think it's something that obviously we're going to tune in. Obviously we want to see what happens, and
Watch the fight.
yeah, watch the fight.
Watch the fight.